It's a great day, sports world. What's up to all the sports lovers, the haters, the addicts, and the fanatics out there? This is Larry Patterson with GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports right here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network here for episode 39. Moving closer to the episode 50 mark, we're going to have to do something special for the episode 50. Maybe get to episode 60 by the end of the year. But either way, how you doing, Amon? How's
I'm
the day
doing all
going?
right, man. I'm doing okay, man. It's all season kind of quiet right now for the league though, but training camp starts in what 3 weeks, so yeah, it's about to ramp up.
A lot of NBA news. The NBA is ramping up, but we'll talk about that another day since we do NFL, coverage around here. But uh, I want to say thoughts and prayers out to Chris Johnson. Um, he was on Good Morning America. I want to say it was a Monday,
Mm.
about the ALS that he has. I didn't know he was it was that bad, to where he was communicating with his eyes. Of course, you know, Chris Johnson played 10 seasons in the league. Um, his last season, I want to say, was 2017 with Arizona Cardinals. Spent most of his season with the Tennessee Titans. I want to say over 7,000 yards. I think he rushed for over 2,000 yards maybe once. I want to say he was one of a few players to do that. Uh, what was your thoughts on that when you first saw it?
Yeah, man. Like my thoughts, man. Like when I first saw it, I was in shock slash disbelief for a little while. But you know how you use social media. I know I'm on social media. You on social media. I'm more on Twitter now than anything, and you start seeing like little rumblings about, hey, Chris Johnson has an announcement. He's going on Good Morning America, be interviewed by Michael Strahan, and you just start going down, a path, and you're like trying to figure out what's going on, and then you see it could be some medical issues, and you're like, that's interesting. So then he comes out and he say, he has the ALS, and it's like it's shocking, man, because like they've been saying he was at the Senior Bowl last year coaching up the running backs, at the Senior Bowl, and he was doing great. He was in good spirits, coaching them up, giving them some advice about going to the league, and then here we are a year later. He's battling this disease, and we all praying and fighting for him, man. So it was kind of a shock to me, but prayers are gonna be with him throughout this whole process. Whole the NFL community, knew how a special running back, excuse me, Chris Johnson was. He didn't get the name CJ2K for no reason. He was one of 8 or 9 running backs in NFL history to rush for over 2,000 yards, and I think he maybe was a handful of running backs in NFL history to have 2,000 yard rushing and like 500 yards receiving in one season. So he was just one of the all time greats of his era when he did play. He was must see TV every week, whether it's with the Titans, the Jets, a little bit with the Cardinals. He was liable to take over a game. He had the fastest 40-yard dash at the combine for a while before the other guys came through like Worthy and those type of guys. He had the fastest time for a while. So yeah, man, he was a special player, you know, on the field. Like I said, he was much watched see TV for me because he liable to get 200 in his sleep, and for me, it just brings the game we love so much, man. It brings everything into perspective that it's a dangerous game that we as fans we watch on Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, well, heck, every day of the week now.
We love it.
We love it, so it's just they go out there and they put their bodies on the line for, our entertainment. We know that, there are ramifications and, repercussions for being in car wrecks pretty much 50, 60 plays a game, so we have to, cherish these guys, while they're great and while they're in their prime. And it's just unfortunate, man. To think about it, we know what comes with the game of football and what the consequences may be. Um, I hope the NFL give him all the care and all the attention that he needs, and I'm pretty sure they will. But man, it just puts it in perspective, man. For me, when I first heard about the news, and you just think about CJ2K. He was everybody's favorite Madden player. Everybody would get him on Madden. What you want to get the Titans? Because Chris Johnson had a 96 speed, and he was one of those guys you just had to have when play Madden with. It just goes to show you, man, that life is so fast, so fragile. It can happen to any of us, man. So I know, it's let's say 4 times more likely to happen to NFL players. I think that's what I heard today. I could be wrong. I have to do my research on that. But hey, man, it's just the game that we love and they play for our entertainment on Sunday, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, like I said, every day of the week now. So prayers to him and his family. Um, Hope he can find something here to fight this thing, and it's just a tough situation all around. And yeah, man, we're gonna be with him every step of the way. Watching his progress, and we're gonna be in his corner.
First round pick in 2008, 24th overall. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All Pro, and he won Offensive Player of the Year in 2009. That's when he rushed for over 2,000 yards. 2006 to be exact. That's the year we graduated. So 14 touchdowns, and 5.6 yards a carry. He came in the league in 2008 going over 1,000 yards. So 6 straight seasons of going over 1,000 yards. And then that's when he went to the Jets, and he's still a productive player, but it just wasn't like those Pro Bowl years.
Sure.
Three straight Pro Bowls, to start your career off in the league. You can't say anything better than that. I definitely remember Lindell White and him and Lindell White, that connection that they had, that backfield.
But it was thunder and lightning, right?
Thunder and lightning. I was just about to say that. So thoughts and prayers out to him, and just such a heartbreaking situation to witness. Calais Campbell. He had the death of his mother today. His brother is being charged. We want to send our thoughts and prayers to Calais Campbell as well. He's a Colorado native. But we don't know too much about the situation, but, just want to extend thoughts and prayers out to the family and everything. More positive news. Brenton Strange caught the bag. What did he get? He got a 3-year extension.
Yeah, I think it was 3 years. I don't know the exact number. It happened like last week. I know he got a 3-year extension.
With the Jaguars, it's 3-year, worth up to $48 million. And he's started to improve on in his NFL career as well. So trying to pull his stats up here real quick. Came in 2023, and he was a 2nd-round pick 61. 35 yards in his first year, 411 in 2024, and then 540 in his 3rd year with 3 touchdowns. So it's not eye-popping numbers to where a franchise would be like, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap him up. But I mean, he did. I guess they're looking at the potential in this. So congrats to Brenton Strange. You got any thoughts about that?
Yeah, man. Congrats to Brenton Strange getting the bag. It's going to be curious to see how they use him in the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Transitioning from Aaron Ingram. So yeah, man, it's gonna be. I'm ready to see how his production holds up over the year. You're gonna be tight end. Tight end 1, TE1. for them. I know they drafted a couple as well. So yeah, man, I'm curious to see how his progression as the main guy and what his production look like at the end of the season, man. So congratulations to him, man. Anytime these players get, secure, you know, well for them and their family, man, that's always a win, in my opinion.
Of course. I want to say fourth on the team in targets with 60. So we can definitely see the improvement there. Going on to the actual topic of the reason why we came here, uh, win totals. And we're gonna start with the NFC West. Uh, and these, according to ESPN, you got three teams in the NFC West with 10.5 win totals, and you got the Cardinals sitting at 4.5. And we'll touch more on these teams once we reach the 32 and 32 whenever we decide to come up with a date to do it. But where you want to start first? You want to them Seahawks?
Yeah, let's start with the Rams, man. Let's start with the Rams.
So on the Rams start kickoff the Thursday with the 49ers. They in Australia, so neutral site. Then they got a Monday night game against the Giants. They got a Sunday night game against the Broncos. They at Philly. They got a Monday night game against Buffalo. You got the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Commanders, the Cardinals again. In week 10, you hit the bye week in week 11. You got the Packers on a Wednesday. That's crazy on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday is crazy.
You got the Chiefs on a Thursday night. The 49ers. You got the Cowboys. The Seahawks on a Friday night. And then you finish off with the Buccaneers at the Buccaneers, and then the Seahawks again. So just one of those teams. And then they get Myles Garrett as well to help out that defense. So if you asking me, do I think it's going to be over 10.5 for the Rams? I think yeah. I think yeah.
Say over 10.5.
I say yeah. I just
I'm a
think
bit.
with a team that experienced, they just gonna find ways to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna be safe and I'm gonna say yeah. I could be a daredevil and say no, but I think their schedule and their deep in their offense and their defense as a complete football team. I'm gonna say yeah, they'll hit the 10, but it's gonna be it's gonna be tough, because you're gonna get you got all the NFC West here, and then you pick up Buffalo, Philly. You got first place schedule or second place schedule, one of the two schedules, first or second place schedule.
Second place.
So you're going to do second place, of course, yeah. So you're going to have tough opponents week in and week out. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some games that you should win, and there's going to be some games that you should, that you probably lose. Like think about it. You look at this stretch right here at Green Bay, Kansas City, San Francisco, Dallas, Seattle, back to back to back to back, and that's coming. That's week 12 through 16, end of the season. How to my question is attrition. You know, who's going to be healthy? We know Devontae's missed time with health. We know Puka's missed time with health. We know Garrett stays healthy. Stafford has the back issue. Um, yeah, man, they're going to be a healthy team come that stretch because I can easily see Seattle and San Francisco, all three of those teams for that matter, be fighting for either division lead or playoff spot. So that's going to be crucial. That stretch right there: Green Bay, Kansas City, San Francisco, Dallas, and Seattle. And I expect all 4 or 5 of those teams. Heck, even Tampa Bay. I expect them to be in the playoffs.
I was gonna say, shit, you going to Tampa Bay?
Yeah, that ain't no. I mean, Tampa Bay ain't what they used to be 2 years ago. But hey, they can come in. They took Philly out in the playoffs a couple of seasons ago with no problem. So yeah, that tough stretch right there. I think is the division going to be wrapped up? Is my the two takeaways from that I have, or two questions I have for um, the Rams is: are they going to be able to keep Stafford upright, to keep him healthy, and how tight is that NFC West race going to be come the back stretch of the season? If you can promise me that Stafford's going to be upright, ready to roll, I'm going to pick the Rams to win the division. But if there's anything going on, an injury here, a Puka miss a game here, Devontae miss a game here, I'm going to have question marks about, hey, can they win this division or are they going to be a wild card team? But other than that, I have no questions about this team. They traded for Myles Garrett, like you stated. They traded for Trent McDuffie, like you stated. They got two All Pro players, so they're loading up to go all in
The
because we
dream
don't.
team.
Yeah, the dream team that they talk about. Maybe what was it, 2012? Maybe when they had
With
Vic, Vince
Philly.
Young, D-Jax, all of them on that team. I
Yeah.
think I think it was that team. It just didn't pan out the way that we thought it would, and in our minds. I don't think this is going to be that. I think this all depends on Matthew Stafford's health because we know what Myles Garrett brings to the table. You know what Trent McDuffie gonna do. You know what Byron Young gonna do. Kobe Turner, those guys, Fisk in the middle of the defense. Even my guy on the second level, I can't think of his name right now, but I'm drawing a Landman. Um, know what he gonna do. Um, Can you keep Matthew Stafford upright? Because we know there's some little stuff going on with the tackle. He has a little trouble going on. Is he going to be there this season? I can't think. It's Alaric Jackson. I want to say
Larry
his
Jackson.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he got a little something going on. This is it's not his first time. It's his second offense. So is he going to be there this year? Who knows? So other than that, I have no questions about the Rams.
It's great you pointed that out. I forgot all about that. But when you're looking at the talent level, you say, hey man, there's no reason why this team can't be playing, in February. But man, you gotta play it out.
Yeah.
Just because those teams are scheming up and trying to beat you too. And as you said about the NFC West, I mean, this is going to be one tough. You got Seattle, like they coming on the Super Bowl run, which we're about to talk about them in a minute. But I mean, they're not backing down. San Francisco, I mean, yeah, they're injury prone, but they're not going to be backing down either. So even with Arizona, like, no, I don't see them contending, but they know them.
Sure.
It's just
Division opponent, of
division
course.
opponent. So you know about those teams. You go in one of those games and you're like, Rams gonna win this one, but
Mm-hmm.
the Cardinals play them so tight because they see him and they're so familiar with him. So, but yeah, I can see it going over. We're gonna go ahead and go to the Niners schedule real quick. I had something to say about the Rams. I just completely went over my mind. But the 49ers also at 10.5. They start with the Rams. Then they go to the second week, they got Miami. Then they got the Cardinals. So that's two potential wins right there. Then you got the Broncos at home. You're at Seattle. Then the Commanders at home at the Falcons. That 4-game stretch right there could be something,
Insane.
especially with San Francisco because they're so, I ain't gonna say injury prone, but they do have issues with injuries.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that franchise. You hit the bye week in week 8. You got the Raiders, Cowboys, Vikings, Seahawks. And then you finish up with the Giants, Rams, Chargers, Chiefs, Eagles, Cardinals.
Man, that stretch that you just gave off right there at the end.
Because you don't
God,
know what the Giants are going to look like. You know what the Rams potentially could look like. Chargers, I don't think is going to be no slouch. The Chiefs, depending on if Patrick Mahomes is playing during that time of the year,
yeah.
Eagles, and then with a division opponent.
Right. Like you said, you got. I'm looking at after the Raiders after November 8th. You got the Cowboys. We know what that offense brings to the table with Pickens, Dak, CD, and then you look at Minnesota. We know what Brian Flores can do to an offense if you give him time to scheme up and he'll erase you. You know, he got Van Ginkel out there. He'll come get you. And then you got Seattle. They speak for themselves, the Super Bowl champions. Then the Giants. We don't know what a Harbaugh-led Giants football team will look like in November because You're not the same team that you were in September that you're going to be in November. So you're going to be two different football teams by that time.
And you know
Then
he gonna have them playing hard too.
right, and then you got you got Burns. You lose Lawrence, but you got Burns, you got Thibodeau, you got your first round pick, you got
Abdul
your
Carter.
Carter. You got some stuff to work with there. And then you go to the 49ers. That's division opponent. Don't need to say nothing else about that game. Then you go back and get a John Harbaugh led Chargers team. Are they going to be hitting that stride before the playoff push? And then you get Mahomes and stuff 2 days after Christmas. Are they going to be battling the Chargers for the AFC West crown or the Broncos for the AFC West crown? One of those three teams. Heck, for all we know, it could be a dogfight in the AFC West. So hey, Kansas City might need to get this game to jump Denver or jump, the Chargers or whoever it may be, to get home field advantage or get a higher seed so they can get a home game, whatever. You just don't know how the dominoes will fall. So I'm looking at that stretch to end the season here, and I'm saying that ain't nothing to sniff at if you're San Francisco. Brock Purdy going to have to really be on his going to be on his stuff. And we know Kittle coming off an Achilles injury. Is he going to be the same Kittle that he was pre-injury? Probably not. He's going to be a tick slower. Ricky Pearsall, you're the de facto wide receiver one there because Jawan Jennings, he's in Minnesota, and Brandon Ayuk, we all know what's going on with that saga. He probably won't be there. I know. Go ahead.
You go now. Go
Oh no,
ahead.
I know they took a guy Stribble in the top of the second round this year out of Ole Miss. How much is he gonna be able to contribute? CMC, we know how he is when can we bake on him, playing a full 16, 17 games? That's highly unlikely right now at his stage in his career. So there's a lot of question marks for me with the San Francisco 49ers. Nick Bosa, can he get back to 2019 Nicky Bosa? Are they going to sign his brother to come, play opposite of him? You don't. I think Greenlaw's back in San Francisco.
But how much can he
How
contribute?
much can you depend on Greenlaw with the health concerns? So, yeah, man, John Lynch got, this going to be very interesting out here in the NFC West. I think it's a 3-team race personally between, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. I think it's going to be, and we'll talk about this, the Seahawks here. It's going to be the war of attrition. What team can stay the healthiest going down the stretch this season that, can ultimately decide, who wins the West and who becomes a wild card team. Who gets left out if all three don't make the playoffs.
You can tell that they are putting Brandon Ayuk in the rearview mirror because signing of Mike Evans, and then you bring in a Christian Kirk, who's a productive veteran, but you also don't bring back Jawan Jennings.
Yeah, he's in Minnesota now.
He's in Minnesota now, so one of these receivers. I mean, who knows if Mike Evans is going to be able to play a 17 game season? He's always prone to come up with an injury report in these past couple seasons anyway. But as you spoke about Stripling, he's gonna have to have a circle on his back. Hey, can we get the rocket on you to see if you can contribute quick and fast? Jordan Watkins, who was drafted in the second round last year, another one is going to have to step up. Pearsall, as you said. So and then with the running game, like their running game is basically the story of their team. And you're getting an Isaac Orendo, but he's got a pec injury, so who knows how he's going to start the season. But drafting the Kalen Black out of Indiana, and so with Christian McCaffrey as well. So not sure how that's going to look. And then with the defensive side of the ball too, as you said with Greenlaw, we don't know how he's going to be looking as well. So who's got the tougher end of season schedule between the Rams and the 49ers so far?
Man, I think
because remember, after the bye week, Packers, this is for the Rams, Packers, Chiefs, 49ers, Cowboys, Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Seahawks again. And then for the 49ers, you got what is it? Giant. Actually, no. Let's go Vikings. Let's go Vikings, Seahawks, Cowboys, Vikings, Seahawks, Giants, Rams, Chargers, Chiefs, Eagles, Cardinals. Both of them are pretty tough, if you ask me.
Yeah, man. I just think that the Rams, Green Bay, Kansas City. Yeah, that one right there, man. That's a gauntlet right there. Green Bay, Kansas City, San Francisco, back to back to back, and you get two of them at home, one on the road. That yeah, that was a little tougher to me because I can see Minnesota. Okay, I can see Minnesota falling flat, not being Callan workout.
I'm not as high on them as everybody else is for some reason.
No, me either. I can see the Giants going through year one of the Jackson Dart Harbaugh experiment, and not in maybe still trying to figure that out. Yeah, man, but yeah, I'm definitely taking that Rams stretch for sure because those are playoff teams. And if we're being honest with you, so what Green Bay, Kansas City, San Francisco, Dallas, Seattle, any one of those teams can host the Lombardi Trophy come February, and we wouldn't be surprised. Probably okay. If Dallas hosted, I'd be surprised. But any one of those teams, I'll be like, okay. I see they probably in the top 10 of odds of winning the Super Bowl, so I wouldn't be surprised. So that's why I'm gonna take the Rams stretch over the 49ers stretch.
For the Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl champions, that nobody gives a damn about.
That's crazy, right? Nobody talks about that. Super Bowl.
Nobody talks about it. Lo and behold, if the Cowboys were Super Bowl champions,
man, I'm gonna have to go get me uh, a phone with no internet on it because you ain't gonna never stop hearing about that.
You have to shut your Facebook down and all that.
Yeah, but no, no, not my Facebook. I'm gonna have to move away from it because my family, boy, they ridiculous.
So for the Seahawks, they start week 1 against the Patriots in the rematch of the Super Bowl, and that's on a Wednesday night. You got the Cardinals, at the Commanders. Then you face the Chargers, the 49ers. Yeah, at the Broncos. There's always a tough, close game between those two anyway, besides the Super Bowl. Then you got the Chiefs. Then you got the Bears. Who knows how they're going to look this year on a Monday night. Cardinals again. The Raiders. You hit a bye week. You got the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Eagles, the Rams, the Panthers. Who knows how the Panthers are going to look this year? And then you got the Rams again. Man, now we got to sit here and ask which one of the schedule, which one of the three had the tightest schedule? I know you said the Rams, but now if you're looking back at this now, who would you say? Would you still say the Rams?
Yeah, I still say the Rams because I just don't know how Makai Lemon, and I'm not trying to say this to be, rude or whatever. Makai Lemon and Devontae Smith don't scare me as much as AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Not to say Makai Lemon won't be a fantastic receiver. He'll be a fantastic receiver. We know he is. First round pick for a reason.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you just something about Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. That scared me a little more than the Makai Lemon and Devontae Smith. And Devontae Smith, he will be the one. He can play. He is number one receiver in the league. But when you had AJ Brown on the other side of you, that's a whole other problem that you don't want to deal with. But now it's like you don't have AJ Brown there. He's in New England with his childhood team. I'm not saying I'm not worried about Makai Lemon and what he can ultimately be at the end of the season.
We just don't know that.
You just don't know. Absolutely right. So that's not bothering me. And then with the pressure on Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, will they fold under the pressure of, hey, if you don't perform, Nick Sirianni could be out of a job. Jalen Hurts could be looking for a new team next year, according to whoever you talk to. So yeah, man, I still think and the Panthers, hey, are they going to take that next step? We talked about it briefly in our last show. I just don't, it all depends on Bryce Young. Are you going to get the consistent Bryce Young to be that guy that leads you to the playoffs every year? We don't know. We haven't seen it back-to-back years from Bryce Young. So that's why I'm still going to take the daggone Rams schedule, because there's more proven winners, in my opinion, more proven players in that stretch, with the Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy have been to the Super Bowl twice or once, maybe once, twice. Can't remember. Um, then a Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. And then Seattle's defending Super Bowl champion, Sam Darnold, JSN. You don't have Kenneth Walker anymore. He's moved on to Kansas City, but you drafted your first round pick in Jadarian Price. You still got, Zach Charbonnet in there coming off of ACL. You lose Boye Mafe on defense, but you got Byron Murphy. You still got the guys there. You got Spoon there.
Leonard Williams.
You got Leonard Williams there. You still got Josh Jobs. That defense is still there. Drake is still at a linebacker. So I'm gonna pick the Rams stretch over any of the other stretches, because those teams in that stretch, they've won games in the playoffs and shown the potential to, hey, any one of these teams that can win a Super Bowl out of that five, and we wouldn't be surprised. That's why I'm gonna take the Rams. The Rams set.
Okay. We will find out. Going to the Cardinals. So the Cardinals start out at the Chargers. They got Seattle, and then they're at the 49ers. So that's three tough ones right there. You already coming out with at the Giants. Then you face the Lions. Then you got the Lions. Then you got the Rams, and then you got the Broncos. Then you got the Cowboys. And the
Lord have mercy, bro. Lord have mercy.
And the Cowboys, and then the Seahawks, and then the Rams, and then the Chiefs, and then the Commanders. And then you got the Eagles, and then you finally hit the bye week. You come with the Jets and then the Saints. The Jets it might be a win right there. And then you got the Raiders. That might be a win too. And then you got the 49ers. So if you look at that schedule, the top wise,
find me three wins. Jets, Raiders. I'm not even gonna say the Raiders. I'm gonna say that. I'm not gonna say the Raiders, of course, because it is what it is, though. But find me three wins.
As successful as they've been at Dallas, I mean, I could put that in there. Every time they play Dallas, they do just so happen to win. Commanders. Okay. I mean, we only say that because, now we don't know, but right. you know how certain games can go, especially when
yeah. I'm just looking at it from the 30,000 view. If we go break it down into, sure we can give them 5 or 6 wins, but we're looking at it surface level. Find me 3 wins, bro. Jets, Raiders, Saints, maybe, and the Saints gonna be a better football team.
I think they're gonna win the West. They're gonna win the South. So and I only say, of course, I'm not saying that they're gonna get over 4 wins. What is it? Over 4.5 wins.
4.5.
They won't get over 4.5. But if they just so happen to beat a Giants as well, because we don't know how they're going to look as well either. Any of those AFC, NFC West, NFC East teams beside Philly, and who knows, they can probably take it there too. But one nugget I wanted to throw out there, and this is a different head coach, different system, and everything. I think they kept the defensive coordinator, but they had 8 one-score games that they lost last year. 8. That's crazy.
Yeah, because remember what team was it that had 13 one-score wins like a couple years before? Was it the Chiefs or somebody like that? They had 13 games where they won about 1 score or less or something like that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, it was just I think it was the Chiefs, but that's just how the ball bounces sometimes, man. But Yeah, man, this schedule right here, man, I'm hard. I'm hard to scratch. I'm I'm I might hit the under on this, bro, because can they beat the Jets? Yeah, they can beat the Jets. Can they beat the Saints? Yeah. Can they beat the Raiders? Yeah, I think by this time we'll see Mendoza on the field getting those reps. So yeah, you can say that's probably be growing pains for Mendoza, so I can see them winning that game. Um and 49ers at the end, they could be fighting for a wild card spot or the division. So I'm gonna take the under. But bro, I didn't realize this schedule was rough like this. Woo.
What I didn't realize when I looked at them earlier, they were ranked 25th on the run in the run game. They had 25th ranked run game. 2 years prior to that. So last year, the year before that, guess where they were ranked in the run game?
Probably like top half of the league.
Fourth and seventh.
Insane.
And then you dip to 25th, 26th, 26th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. But their run game, which was led by Michael Carter, because James Conner had got hurt early part of the year, but you can tell they did a significant, improvement on knowing where they were bad at the run game. Then you go out there, you get Tyler Algier. Then you go out there and draft Jeremiah Love.
Mm.
So we'll see if that improves though.
Yeah,
Um,
man, that's crazy. I'm gonna take the under, by the way. I'm taking the under on the
yeah, I'm
40
gonna
and a
take the
half.
under. I'm gonna take the
Yeah.
under too.
Um,
So
Cardinals
I'm
fans,
take
step
the
in and let us know, man. But I'm taking the under, bro. No
I'm gonna
disrespect,
take
but my
I'm gonna
God.
take the over on the Rams. For the Niners at the 10.5, I think I'm gonna take the under on that as well.
Ooh.
And for the Seahawks at 10.5, I'm gonna say right there at it.
Okay.
And then for the Cardinals, I'm gonna take the under.
Mm.
And then we go into the AFC side. So of course the Broncos continue to get disrespected. And you got the Chargers and the Chiefs sitting at 10.5 projected total wins. Broncos at 9.5, and the Raiders sitting at 5.5.
Dang,
Uh,
that's tight.
we'll
Ooh.
start with the Chiefs. Uh, Also, did you hear Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift? They getting married at MSG. Just wanted to throw that out there. Congratulations, though. Monday
Insane, bro.
they start Monday night. James Dolan, uh, but they start off Monday night against the Broncos at home. Then they face the Colts, which they always seem to have a little problem with on a Sunday night. Then they at Miami, at the Raiders. They got an early bye week in week 5. Week 6, you got the Chargers. Week 7, you're at the Seattle Seahawks on a Sunday night. Then you're at Denver in week 8. Week 9, you got the Jets. You got the Falcons in week 10. You got the Cardinals in week 11. That's a nice little easy stretch right there. But knowing how the Chiefs are, they probably one possession games right there. At the Bills, at the Rams, at the Bengals. 3 games on the road. And then you face the Patriots, the Niners, the Chargers, and then finish up against the Raiders. You want to talk about a stretch of tough games right there, where it starts with the Bills, the Rams, Bengals, Patriots, Niners, Chargers. How you feel about that schedule?
Mm. That stretch right there is kind of tough. But answer this question: is Mahomes starting the season? All signs are pointing towards yes, he will. But if you ask me personally, I probably wouldn't bring him in to after the bye at week 6.
Early bye.
I think they can survive with Justin Fields, Colts, Dolphins, Raiders.
Is
Because
that
I
their
don't.
backup?
Yes, I think they can survive. It all depends on what Patty is in his rehab. Yeah, I think he'll be ready to go by Denver. But if there's any pause for concern, I will wait till week 6 to bring him out there. Maybe play him week 4 just to get his feet wet, and then unleash him week 6 after the bye. Um, but that's only if there's pause for concern about the rehab or want to slow walk it or whatever. But knowing Mahomes and the competitor that he is, he'll probably be out there week 1 for sure. Yeah, man, that 13, 12, 13, 14, 15 boys.
I got a question.
Ooh.
Does Justin Fields become a better quarterback with Andy Reid coaching? Because of course he can use his legs.
Yeah, Andy is creative enough to use. Just look what he did with what he had. He had Vic. He turned Vic around, his career around. And the backup quarterbacks that he had to use when Mahomes was either out or just in garbage time, they weren't bad. The guy kid last year, Luakon or whatever, I can't think of his name. He wasn't bad. Even back to what's my guy,
Chris
Moore, Chris Luakon. Then the other guy that had to play in the playoff game versus the Browns because somebody was hurt. I can't think of his name. It was Alex.
I know
you know what I'm talking about, right? Henny was there. He made a couple plays, and that little motion pass to Tyreek to get that first down. That sealed the game for him as well. So yeah, I think Justin Fields will become a better quarterback under Andy Reid. Andy Reid, everybody that he's worked with, he's gotten better. People have gotten better and went on and got jobs. I'm not saying he can get another starting job in the league, but he might be just the guy just the guy the Chiefs need to back up Mahomes just in case something do happen. And don't forget they drafted Gary Nussmeier in the 7th round this year as well. So there's 2 potential, pieces that, we'll get to this in the 32 for 32, but those are 2 potential guys that you can, rehabilitate Justin Fields' career and, give some, crucial development to Gary Nussmeier just in case, he's probably a future backup to Mahomes. And I think, he's capable of being a backup to a spot starter in the league, if in my opinion. So yeah, man, I think he's in a great spot with Andy Reid, Justin Fields, that is.
And I only say that because, of course, about his dual threat, ability. And say if Mahomes is not ready, of course you're gonna go. Of course you still got camp and stuff that's still happened. But what's the chances of Nussmeier coming in and outplaying Justin Fields? Of course, Andy's gonna go. He's gonna go with the guy with the most experience. Plus, you got Bieniemy there, scheming some stuff up too. So there could be a chance where we see Justin Fields lining up out wide or potentially, in the backfield somewhere.
Andy Reid is so creative, bro.
That's yeah. But I'm gonna say under.
What they 10.5?
Under 10.5. Because it's just because of the unknown. I don't know.
Losing Trent McDuffie hurt. You got Kelsey in the twilight of his career. This probably is it for him. You really don't have a wide receiver 1 per se. You have a collection of talent. You got Kenneth Walker. He's come over from Seattle, so that's a help. That wide receiver room that scares me a little bit. We don't know the pending status. What's that guy name? The one that's got out of jail.
Rashid Rice.
Rashid Rice. Sorry, we don't know his status. Is he going to be on the commissioner's exempt list to start the season? If so, how does that affect the wide receiver room? Mahomes' injury, are they going? That's the biggest question mark. Are they going to start him week 1 versus Denver, or are they going to slow roll him back? Maybe week 2, week 3, week 4. Those are some of the things that we're going to be looking for. When camp starts. Where does he? How does he feel? Andy Reid and Mahomes will answer those questions for us. We'll know by week 1 he'll be ready to roll. So I'm gonna take the under as well because I think it's gonna take some time for Mahomes to get back into the rhythm of things. It's like you don't know how to. It's like riding a bike. You don't forget how to ride a bike. It's just when you haven't rode it for so long, when you get back on it, you have to like kind of like your muscle memory has to kick in. And for him missing the time that he missed last year, it'll all be muscle memory to him when he gets back. But it's gonna take some time for him to get acclimated to live bullets because we're not gonna see him in the preseason. He probably not even gonna take. He'll probably take snaps on the side doing camp. You know what I mean? He's not gonna be. He has the red jersey for a reason. They're not gonna touch him. They're not gonna let nobody touch him. So it'll probably be before we see Mahomes in real live action. It's gonna be during a regular season. And my only question mark is how long it's going to take him to get back to the old Patrick Mahomes of 2018 because just as well as I do, quarterbacks that come off ACL injuries, they're not really right until that following season. So Mahomes would be himself in the 2027 season. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense. Yeah, he'll still be Mahomes, the dynamic, whatever passer, whatever of the ball, but he won't be Mahomes, the magician, until 2027. If that makes sense to you. So
That's when you get a little bit more mobility out of that ACL. Who knows?
yeah, absolutely.
This guy has had high ankle sprains in games, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, he done, he coming out, and then next thing he might.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
remember when he had that injury versus y'all on the goal line, maybe like years ago, and we like, oh God, he ain't coming back. And lo and
yeah,
behold, he take one series off, he coming right back.
coming
But
right
I,
back.
but I think this ACL thing is first time for him. He's towards ACL, I believe. So this is a different. I haven't torn no ACL per se myself, but from other people that I talked to that has toured in college or high school, whatever, they said the the rehab is the easy part. That mental hurdle of you trying to get back to yourself, that's the most hard part because we all know it's so fragile. One wrong move, one wrong hit, your career's over with. So I think it's gonna be more of a mental thing for him this year. And then, like I said previously, we'll see the fireworks number 15, the one that moves around the pocket, makes some out of nothing, running around in circles. We'll see that Mahomes probably in 2027. And hopefully by that time, they'll have more questions on the roster answered. Hey, you know, who's going to be Kelsey's replacement? But we'll get into more of that, 32 for 32. We'll get more in depth there. But just, my thoughts and off the initial thinking piece, how that would look when we get to regular season.
Uh, Going to the Chargers here. They started week one against the Cardinals at home. 2 games at home, they got the Cardinals and then they got the Raiders. Then they hit the road in week three. They got the Bills and they got the Seahawks. Back at home against the Broncos in week five. Week six, they got the Chiefs. Week seven, they could hit the bye week, another early bye week 14. Week eight, they got the Rams. Uh, Week nine, you got the Texans. Week 10, you're at the Ravens. Week 11 with the Jets. Patriots in week 12. Week 13, you got the Buccaneers, Raiders in 14, 49ers in 15, Dolphins in week 16. Week 17, you got the Chiefs before finishing up week 18 at Denver. So not as tough of a schedule, but there are some games in here because of the unknown. And we got questions about Justin Herbert and how is he going to look in Mike McDaniel's new offense. Um, yeah, I don't know about a number right now, but what's your thoughts on this?
It's gonna be interesting, man, because this is going to what year three of the Harbaugh plan.
Yeah,
Year three had new coordinators each of the last 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, 2 3 years.
yeah.
So this is a new offense that Herbert's going to have to learn, which I don't think is no issue. Learn it. Um, yeah, man, it's like do we see more of Amari and Hampton this year? You know, our guy, what's his name? The tight end that balled out last year that we like so much.
Oronde
Rondé
Gaston.
Gaston. Yeah, him. You get another leap from him. Quentin Johnston, can you be more consistent? We know what Ladd does. You don't have Mike Williams there no more. I don't think Keelan Allen's there no more. For me, it all, you know, it's the hype train has been out for Justin Herbert for the last since 2021, since he came on the scene as a rookie. Now I need to see I need to see them in it. I need to see Herbert in the AFC Championship. I gotta see it. You know, is then you're gonna start raising questions. You know, he's not that guy. And, you know, I'm not saying they're gonna move on for him, but you know, the doubt is gonna start creeping in. He's a top 10, top 15 talent in the league, in my opinion. You know, might be a little higher, whoever you ask. You know, but coming in with, you know, Harbaugh for what he brought from Michigan, you know, there's expectations, and he hasn't lived up to those expectations. And the Chargers as a whole franchise, they never won a Super Bowl, but they haven't lived up to the expectations that the media has put on them, fans have put on them, me and you have put on them. You know, the beginning of the year is always what are the one of the teams that you expect to, you know, make a deep playoff run, and every year it's the Chargers.
You
And
always
it's like,
expect at least 12, 13 games.
right, but then they get disappointed, they get blowed out by the Texans, they lose to the Jaguars, you know, stuff like that shouldn't happen because of the supreme talent of quarterback that you do have, and the roster really wasn't a bad roster, you know. So uh, I just don't know. What's the over under 10.5?
10.5.
I don't see it. I see 8, 9 wins because just you got to. I just don't believe in the Chargers. I really don't believe in Justin Herbert. I'm not gonna say anymore, but he has to take that next step to get into that class with the Drake Mays have done it already. You know, the Jalen Hurts. You want to put him in that Dak Prescott range. You want to put him in that Stafford, Mahomes, Lamar, heck, even Josh Allen. You know, he went to an AFC Championship, I believe, or maybe a divisional, whatever.
He
Maybe
did. He did.
you got to get there, bro. From in my opinion.
I feel like once we always talk about top quarterbacks in the league, top quarterbacks entering the season, like our girl Mina Kimes, you know, like we're always putting Herbert up here, but he's never delivering. So that's the flashlight is going to be on him. He's going to have a big spotlight on him to see. Oh, yeah, okay, all right. You're in a new system now. You got a new offensive coordinator that requires you to get the ball out a little bit quicker. What is it going to be? I mean, you got 2 second-year guys in Lambert Smith. I want to say Keandre Lambert. You got Brenton Thompson that you drafted. He's a short guy, speedster, but I think he's going to be really effective in that offense. And then with Ladd and Quentin and Rondé, and it's another receiver, Trey
Harris. Oh,
Trey Harris.
third round pick out of Ole Miss a couple years ago.
Yeah, you get your offensive lineman back, and then Jesse Minter not there, so you got to get acclimated to a new defensive coordinator who's probably was already in the building, but the defense is not too bad either. So now it's time for them to actually all right, can we move past the wild card round?
Yeah, and that's when, and I'm glad you brought up the offensive lineman. They lost both of their tackles last year to season-ending injuries. And I feel like if they are there, I think if they're healthy all season, you could see the potential for the Chargers to get to the AFC Championship. But if one of them goes down, the depth behind it is not that great. We know what happened to Justin Herbert after, what's my guy name? Notre Dame. Joe Alt and the left tackle name. What's his name? Rashawn Slater. When they went down, it was a different team. So them coming off 2 seasons and the injuries are going to be so crucial for this football team. And I feel like if one of them goes down, do they have the depth behind them to make up for that missing player? So that's a question to be answered.
Depth, Trey Pipkins, who's an 8-year vet, and 2 rookies.
Yeah, but we don't see Trey Pipkins, boy, get beat up by. Well, we don't see what Max Crosby done did to him. We don't see what your boy did to him. What's his name?
Benito?
Nick Benito done to him. We don't see what the other team on there. We don't see what boy. Everybody done had a turn. He's a turnstile. Now, he's good depth, quality depth. But if you gotta try him out there, yeah, it's over.
And then Cole Strange and Trevor Penning, your 2 starting left guard. Well, the left guard, right guard, and then Tyler Biotis. So I don't know, man. It just doesn't give me. It gives me under vibes to be.
Cole Strange was the first round pick from the Patriots years back, ain't it? That one that Bill Belichick took out of right field. I was like, what? That Cole Strange.
All these guys right here. You take
it. Yeah, it was so bad. I had to go to ESPN and I had to go to Google right quick. I was like, I ain't hear his name all draft cycle. I'm like, that's what I knew Belichick. That's not the whole story. That's when I knew he was too far gone. He was out here just doing stuff. He was out here just doing stuff. So, but yeah, man, you're right, man. I think the 2 tackles to me before we move on to the next team. The 2 tackles for me is going to be huge, and the depth behind those 2. Can they hold up and play sufficient level football if they do have to miss time for some, reoccurring injury or nagging injury? It might put them out a week or 2. And I think if that holds up and Justin Herbert can erase some of the sins of the past in the playoffs, I think they'll have a shot to get to the championship. That's like I need to send them in the championship for what the media has hyped them up to be this top 5, whatever. Whoop. I got to see them in the championship game because we done seen Burrow in the championship. We done seen Burrow in the Super Bowl. We done seen Josh Allen in the AFC Championship game. We done seen Lamar in the AFC Championship game. We know what Mahomes can do. We done see Stafford in the Super Bowl, NFC Championship game. We done seen Purdy in the NFC Championship game. Herbert, what we doing? We done seen Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl. Okay, what we doing, Herbert? It's year 8, 9. They say you are what you are by whatever week, whatever year. So
we done seen Bo Nix take his team to an AFC Championship. So
there you go. And I feel all about Bo Nix in year 2, 3.
Going into year 3.
Yep, and we don't see Drake May take his team to a Super Bowl in year 2. We don't see Jaden get to an NFC Championship in year 1 as a rookie.
Got a point. You got a point.
So, yeah.
Going to the Denver Broncos.
You say the best for last.
Week 1 starting at the Chiefs. Then you got the Jaguars and then the Rams.
Have mercy.
Then 49ers at the Chargers. Back at home against Seattle at the Cardinals. Back at home against the Chiefs in week 8. At Carolina in week 9. Week 10 you hit the bye, so you got a late bye week. Okay, cool. You got the Raiders at the Steelers on a Friday. I think that's the Black Friday game. Against the Dolphins, the Jets, the Raiders. Then you got the Bills, the Patriots, and then the Chargers to end the season. So the first 3 games, the first 4 games, the first 6 games.
That's that first place schedule, boys. Lord have mercy.
And then you're at Arizona, which, we can sit here and say that's a win there, but who knows? Before facing the Chiefs, Carolina was in a prime position to be going to the divisional round against the Rams last year.
They had the Rams on a rope.
They did. So they're improving. Their draft picks have improved. They done got free agents and everything. It's Dolphins, Jets, Raiders. That's your easy stretch right there. Also, you can argue with Pittsburgh, who know I think Pittsburgh's going to bring a little bit of fight with them, as always. And plus, you in their house. If you're saying 9.5 wins, uh, I don't know, man. I don't know about this one. I
Yeah, I'm
could,
gonna let this your mob, so I'm gonna let you
I
get your
could,
stuff on.
I could definitely see us winning like the first 2 games, but I can also see us losing them as well. Uh, with the Rams and the 49ers. Man, Chargers, Seahawks. This is you know what it tells me? A lot of one-score games in this one. uh, but for the sake of everybody always ready to disrespect us at 9.5 wins, I'm saying over.
Wait, wait, who disrespecting y'all?
Everybody disrespects us, bro.
How?
They just, what do you mean? How?
How?
What do you mean?
How do people disrespect y'all? Y'all was just in the AFC Championship.
No,
How?
but on our road to the AFC Championship, everybody didn't want to give us a chance. Right, granted some things had to happen for the game to go the way it went,
Oh
but
yeah, I didn't. Yeah, you're right.
nobody gave us a chance in half of these games.
You're right.
So,
I didn't.
so uh,
Well, I'm a Bronco. I hate watch the Broncos anyway, so I hate watch.
yeah, we know. So I guess you going under in this one.
I'm gonna go. It says that was a 9.5.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stay at the 9.5. I always think the teams that go to the championship games and the Super Bowl the year after always find a way to not say lose their edge, but don't be the team that they were the year before. And then we know things change, free agency happens, draft, all that stuff where the roster is not the same. But I think there's always going to be a step back, in my opinion. And I think you guys won, what, 13 games, 14 games last year?
14.
So I think, yeah, right around that 9.5, 10, number for me is solid. Um, the team, no, y'all didn't lose anybody. If anything, y'all had Jalen Wall got added. The division got tougher from all three teams in that division. Y'all got a first place schedule. Y'all playing, so y'all playing all playoff teams pretty much, except for a couple. Well, yeah, except for two, three: Steelers, Raiders, Jets, Cardinals. Four. So almost in the AFC West, everybody plays each other, you know, close. So I'm gonna stick right at 9.5, 10 wins, and I think that'll get y'all a wild card spot depending on what goes on with the Chargers and the Chiefs. I don't think 10 wins is enough to win a division, in my opinion. I think you're going to have to hit 12, 13.
Especially if the Chargers are pumping as well.
Yeah, especially if the Chargers are bumping and Mahomes pick up right where he left off 2 years ago before the injury. I think that's going to be a tough division title to win back to back years. But you guys are more than capable of doing it. I mean, like I said, you didn't lose any key players. You added a Jalen Waddle as a first round pick, which is we know what he can do in the league, along with Sutton and Mims and the receivers that you got. I don't think Lil Jordan Humphrey's there anymore.
He
You know,
is.
he is okay. So I mean, you look at your wide receiver room; it's probably the strongest room on the roster in my opinion. Offensive line probably as well. Um, to me, we know what PS2 do. We know what he do. To me, it's going to come down to, hey, what are we getting from the linebacker spot, and what are we going to see from Jade Barron, last year's first round pick? Are we going to see? I know we've seen him a little bit last year, but we didn't get to see him on full display like we as first round pick guys, first round pick talents like to see their first round picks on the field. Riley Moss was cornerback 2, and then you had a couple guys in the that filled in
Who knew
quarterback
who
3.
who knew Jaquan McMillan was going to be playing the way he was playing?
Exactly. So you can't when you got somebody that's playing like that, you can't take them off the field. So to me, it's just hey the okay, Bo Nix, you got us to the AFC Championship. Yes, you didn't play. You and Sean Payton in year what? Year two, year three, year three,
This will be year 3.
year three. You got the missing pieces that you needed. Waller was the ultimate piece that you guys need. I know coming from you, you said, "Hey, we need that second wide receiver," and
Need speed.
need speed, and you have it now. So what you don't have Greenlaw anymore. He went back to San Francisco. Your linebacker room is a little shaky. I know you're not a big fan of your linebacker room, but you do have some young talent there that could potentially see the field. So yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna keep them at the 9.5, 10 win mark, and I don't see much of a drop off. Maybe a ball or two bounce this way or that way to give them an extra win or extra loss, but I'm gonna stick right at 10.5 wins. Nine
I
and a
got
half.
I got 2 questions for you. So first question, Marvin Mims coming up on the final year of his contract. With the receiving depth that we do have, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. Quite a lot of talent around there, a lot of different flavors, things like that. Is there a chance that Mims could be the odd man out, being that his contract is up and he could get traded?
It's potential. It's potentially he could be the odd man out, but I just don't see it. Maybe if something comes at the trade deadline and somebody needs a receiver, maybe a wide receiver 3, and I feel like you might get some value there, in my opinion. But if so, if anything's next off season, he might not. Next season, he might not be there. Um, but other than that, nah, man, I think he'll be on his roster for what value he brings to the roster in the return game and stuff like that. I think he'll be there this year, and then he hits free agency next year. He's going to have a good market, and I don't think he's going to be there next year.
Uh, and then the other question is, do you think it was a mistake to bring what is it we bought 16, 17 different guys, 17 of our returning players back? Is it a gift and a curse to bring all your guys back, or how do you look at that? Because I'm looking at, if we bring in most of all our guys back, then that has familiarity. Like, you guys, y'all play well together, y'all continue that. But then it's like you bring all these guys back and you just went on this run. Are the injuries going to come into? Like, granted, injuries happen all the time, but
Yeah,
do you think that was do you think it was a good thing or a bad thing in your
I
opinion?
I think it was a good thing only because I'm a big fan of continuity. And we know what continuity does to an organization when you have everybody aligned at the top from, GM, head coach, quarterback, and, the GM making decisions for the roster and the head coach agreeing with the roster spots. And it's to me, it's like hey, we got this band of brothers here this year. We were so close last year to winning the whole thing. We was a field goal away in the snow for going to the Super Bowl. Who knows, if Bo Nix was healthy and in that game, it could have been, you know, Seahawks Broncos. So you don't know. So I like the continuity of having a team just as maybe a sprinkle here or two there to bring somebody to shake up the roster, but having the guys back. Um, I'm a big fan of continuity, if that makes sense.
Hopefully, some of the young guys, the young linebackers, can come in, like Terry York, who we picked up undrafted. Also, my guy from Buffalo, he's actually from Petersburg, Red Murdoch. Hopefully, he's been impressive at the mini camps and things like that. So hopefully, we'll see some good things out of those guys. For the linebacker position that you were talking about, the Raiders, week 1 against the Dolphins, at the Chargers, at the Saints. Week 4, at home against the Chiefs. At the Patriots in week 5. Why does it seem like y'all play the Patriots every year? Uh, We got add the Patriots week 5. You got the Bills. You got the Rams in week 7.
Good
Week
God, bro.
week, week 8. You got the Jets. Add the Jets. Add the 49ers in week 9. Week 10, you got the Seahawks. At the Broncos in week 11. At Cleveland in week 12. You hit
Lord
a
have
bye
mercy.
week. You finally get a bye week in week 13. My God. Week 14, you got the Chargers. You got the Broncos in 15. You got the Texans in 16. The Cardinals in 17. The Chiefs in week 18. I can see room for improvement in some of these games, especially when we talking in the late part of the schedule with the Cardinals, the Titans. Who knows what they're gonna be looking like? The Browns could be one. You got the Jets, and even at the top of the schedule with the Dolphins and then the Saints. Who knows what we're gonna be seeing out of those teams? How you feel about the schedule?
Yeah. All right. So week 5 through week 15, have mercy. Have mercy, boy. Woo, that's a tough. That's a tough stretch here. Now it's not as tough now. Well, it's tough, but we don't have Miles Garrett in Cleveland right now, so that'll take a little. But hey, Jared Versey is there, so so. But how I feel about the schedule, I want to see 3 wins. I want to can we get to 6? I think 6 wins, 7 wins. That's an improvement in my opinion. I think that's a successful season. Because Tom Brady was right. I didn't see the clip last night, but he said that everybody in the organization failed last year.
You said
Even
me.
I did send it to you.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, everybody right, top to bottom. Nobody did their job, and me being a Raiders fan, I'm gonna be super critical of my football team. Everybody failed last year. Chip Kelly, Brian, Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll. The offensive line failed Ashton Genty. The offensive line failed Geno Smith. Geno Smith failed the receivers. The receivers failed Geno Smith. The defense failed the offense. Offense failed the defense. It was an all around show last year, and it wasn't good enough. It's not the standard that the late great Al Davis would accept. You know, Putting that product on the football field. So if I can get an improvement from 3 wins to 6 wins, 7 wins, that's okay with me. Um, Miami week 1, New Orleans going to be feisty. There's going to be a game that we win that we don't supposed to win. Um, Cleveland, maybe Denver, Tennessee, Arizona at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, Kansas City if they rest and start stuff for the playoffs. But I'm saying I'm not gonna. The 5.5 is about right. I agree with Vegas there, maybe 6. But for me, ultimately, what I want to see from this football team, I want to see, hey, what can Kirk Cousins do, and how far can Kirk Cousins take us? Because if he is playing well, then you probably won't see Mendoza. But then, hey, if you get to about week 12 and we're like 4 and whatever the number, 4-8 or whatever the case may be, I think after that bye against the Rams, that's when you'll see Mendoza. Maybe a little earlier because people want to say when is the right time to put a rookie in, but there is no right time to put a rookie in because every team that's on your schedule, those players that play on that team, they're in the league for a reason. They're damn good football players. It might say yes, the Tennessee Titans or the Arizona Cardinals, they might have the worst record in the league, but those 53 guys, they're professional football players as well. You know what I mean? So it's not like you playing a bunch of bums. They're good football players. Just there's better teams out there that are better than them. So my expectations for this season is to just see improvement on the roster, see some of the rookies, from last year take a next step. Jack Betch, Dante Thornton, JJ Pegues, some Ashton Genty to have a better offensive line around him. He averaged 3.7 yards a carry last year, which was crazy for a number 6 overall pick, but he didn't have the right supporting cast, on the offensive line. Colton Miller missed time last year with injury. There was, Jackson Powell Johnson. There was some beef between him and the coaching staff. Why you didn't see him? We had rotated rookies in on the offensive line. DJ Glaze, our right tackle, he was inconsistent. And then on the defensive side, go ahead. Sorry.
Then you picked one up, Linderbaum.
Yeah, pick Linderbaum up in the offseason, free agency, 3 years, $81 million. And then the defense last year, it was so inconsistent. We had a couple bright spots. We seen the rookies, Darian Porter play at corner. Eric Stokes, he got rewarded with a 3 year, $30 million contract. Our safeties didn't play as great. Linebackers wasn't up to par. And then the defensive line outside of Max Crosby, we really didn't have anybody. They were all rookies and second-year guys. So I expect, a big jump from this team. And a big jump to me is 3 more wins, so 6 wins, 7 wins. Then anything greater than that, hey, I'll take it. But, to me personally, this schedule boils down to, hey, how are we going to compete in the games? Are we going to win? Are we going to win the games that we should, like Miami, the Jets, the Titans, Cardinals? We should win those games. And how do we compete versus the division, the AFC West, the Kansas City, Chiefs? We beat the Patriots last year, first game of the year, which nobody thought the Patriots would be in the Super Bowl. If you had asked them 16 weeks prior, nobody would have picked the Patriots to be in the Super Bowl. So I just want to see improvement. And then when do we get Mendoza dropped in? Because if Kirk Cousins is out there playing well, we won't see Mendoza to probably week 14, and that's my ideal.
If he really played well, then he
won't see him at all.
Yeah,
he won't see him at all. But that's my ideal landing spot. It's probably that Cleveland game or either that Chargers game, because the league has a tendency of starting rookies after bye weeks if the season is out of hand. That's the trend. So I'm circling week 14 versus the Chargers, but there's no good time to put a rookie in versus the defenses in the AFC West, because you still got Chris Jones, you got Nick Bonito on Surtain, and then you got Khalil Mack and those guys over there on that Chargers defense. So, yeah, man, it's definitely going to be interesting. I just want to see growth. And, hey, Clint Kubiak, you come in from Seattle, Super Bowl, winning offensive coordinator. There's hype around you. We know who your daddy is. You know who his daddy is, very well, and he's capable of doing so. I wanted to put his stamp on this team and see where we go from there.
I hate watching and listening to podcasts and trying to figure out like the rookie. Well, for instance, week 7 you play the Rams. But you don't want to play the rookie in this game. Week 6, you play the Bills. You don't want to play the rookie in this game. Week 5 you play the Patriots. You don't want to play the rookie in this game. But what they will do is pick the Jets in week 8, as you alluded to earlier. Like, these guys are not professional. Why sit here and stick him with the easy opponent?
Right.
When next week in week 9 you got the 49ers. So say he does well against the Jets in week 8. Then he's got a much stronger opponent in week 9 with the 49ers. What are you going to pull him in?
Yeah.
He's got to go through the fire regardless.
For exactly. So for all I care, if Kirk's struggling week 1 through 6, hey, that Rams game week 7, number 15, it's time to go.
But they would be like, no, don't do it.
Why? There is no right time to start a rookie quarterback. You can't hide a rookie quarterback from these great defenses. You can't hide them, because you're going to have to play them and to ultimately get to where you want to get to in your development. And when the ultimate goal is win the Super Bowl, you're going to have to play great defenses in the playoffs and in the regular season to get to the playoffs to have a chance to win the Super Bowl. So there is no right time to play a rookie quarterback, regardless of who the opponent is. Yes, you want to throw them in on a – and now I wouldn't say, hey, I wouldn't say – the only way I will push back on that is say, hey, if it's a short week, you don't want to start them on a short week. You want to give them a full week's worth of preparation and then put them in there on the next Sunday or whatever you work. I wouldn't start them on a short week, because we all know short weeks are just, hey, you play Sunday. If you away, you get off the plane, go home. you practice in shorts for 2 days, fly out, play Thursday night, and you really not doing, you're just doing walkthroughs. You're not really doing any hitting, live tackling or whatever. You're just trying to keep people healthy throughout those 4 or 5 days. Play that Thursday night game, and then you get the full week off before you have to play that following Sunday. That's when I would do it, probably per se. But I wouldn't do it on a short week. So yeah, man, like there's no perfect time to play a rookie quarterback. If you want to throw him in versus shoot the 49ers, Seahawks, or Broncos, like I wouldn't be mad at him starting week 11 against the Broncos if the season's not going right. You're going to have to play him for the rest of your career anyway. You're going to have to see Patrick Surtain, Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, those guys anyway. So go ahead and get that, get those reps in underneath your belt. But I think with this football team, I think Tom Brady, and I'm always a proponent of this, give your quarterback time to develop and not rush him out there. You'll know when he's ready. He'll know when he's ready. Just don't throw him on the fire because you get pressure from the fan base to say, hey, we want to see 15. Yes, we know 15 is the future of the organization. That's why he went #1 overall. But you still want to do this thing the right way. You don't want to have and I don't want to call out no names. You don't want to have a Justin Fields incident. You don't want to have, a rest in peace of Dwayne Haskins incident where they just rush you out there. And now maybe not rush Dwayne Haskins out there, but you want to make sure that he's ready to roll and take this, the slow approach. And I think that's what's wrong with the game now. The fans and the media and the owners want to see this new shiny toy so fast and not give them the chance to develop and learn how to be a pro, learn how Kirk Cousins take notes, learn how he study in the classroom. And, so that's what I'm hoping for. Like if you sit here and tell me, Larry, on week 16, we haven't seen Mendoza yet, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be because as well as I do, getting those mental reps in, seeing the flow of the game, how fast the game is on Sunday. You're going against ones because in practice you're going against your ones, but going against your ones and another team's ones is two different levels. It's like going from the Raiders defense to the Broncos defense. It's 2 or 3 notches you got to turn up before you can see what you're going to see on every other Sunday. So yeah, man, that's my hope for this team. So 5.5 wins is about right in my opinion. And hey, we'll be in the Jeremiah Smith we stick next year, and then we'll collect that last Infinity Stone. You have Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, and then Jeremiah Smith. That'll be 3 Infinity Stones, and then you got hell on your hands come out to 2027. It's up.
Max was, of course, traded to the Ravens early part of the year, but it got reversed back. Is there a chance that he could be on the trade block again before the season starts?
For sure. You get a healthy team. Let's say, knock on wood, say something happened to Nick Bosa doing before the trade deadline, and hey, you're one Nicky Bosa, one bona fide pass rusher away from winning this division and potentially going to the playoffs and hitting the Super Bowl again. Do John Lynch, right? Do you make that call? Do you make that call like the Lions? Hey, who else could it be? Carolina Panthers. Shoot, somebody. I'm just spitballing names now. You're one pass rush away from helping Aiden Hutchinson on the other side. Do you make that call? Who knows? Do it. And we'll get to more of this in 32 for 32 when we go down, position by position, roster by roster spot. But is he gonna be on the team come week trade deadline? You just don't know. So 5.5, 6.5 is right to me. Anything more than that is a win. Anything less than that, I'll be a little disappointed.
All right. We have ran through everybody. Everybody in the comments. Let us know if any of these West teams are your team and what totals do you give your team. If they're not your teams, just, hey, what totals do you give these teams? We've already stated ours. I'm going to say under for the Raiders anyway. But
see how I kept it. See, at least I know you're keeping it real. I kept it real with the Broncos. I ain't even throw no smut on y'all name. I said about 9.5, 10. hey, you gonna take the under, and that's real though. That's you keeping it real. I ain't even mad at you. That ain't even no hate. That's just you being. That ain't even no hate. So I ain't even tripping on it.
I'm being professional and I'm hating the team at the same time. You
See,
can't play.
I ain't even hate on the Broncos. I say they got better with Jalen Waddle. They ain't lose nobody. I want to see Jade Barron come in and play a little more as a first round corner last year. I ain't even hate, but you the one got to throw a little shot at. I'm gonna take the under. This is pure hate. Like we gonna win 2 games this year. Like what we doing? But hey, that's your opinion. I ain't even mad at you, bro. If
But
I
you
was,
could. You could.
I'm a realist here. I know when I know the Denver Broncos they're around 9-10 win team. I ain't even gonna hate, but you just pure hate for no reason. You just hate because you just want to hate. That's all it is. But it's cool though. We'll see you week. We'll see you week. What we play?
What do we play?
Week 11. What?
Yeah, week 11.
Week 15.
Yeah.
Oh man, we play out late this year.
So we don't see y'all till after November. Like, wow.
That is crazy. But yeah, we'll see y'all week. Whatever. It's cool. I ain't even hating. It's whatever, bro. Haters gonna hate.
Hey, you got anything else before we get out of here?
No, man, I don't have anything else, man. I just, just the events and stuff that has been happening, throughout the league with the Chris Johnson and Calais Campbell. Just man, the game we love so much, man. It can reward you with some of the great, the finest things in your life, but then again, it can take stuff away, take your health away from you, just like that, man. And I wish, there was more. I hope that this Chris Johnson thing, coming out with ALS, we all know the research. I hope the NFL pull money into that so they can find something for that because, not just Chris Johnson, you got Steve Gleason, the guy from the New Orleans Saints. There's a couple players, that's dealing with that right now, man. I just want them to keep fighting and keep continuing, and hopefully we can find some cure, or some kind of medical miracle, to help, fight that thing, man. But just when I seen the Twitter rumors, man, I kind of like, man, I hope everything's all right. And then he had the interview Monday, and it kind of just broke my heart, man, because CJ was like one of those guys, man, that you look. He was box office every week, man. Like you knew he would have a. He was a dog, certified dog, man. One of the best running backs of his era. Yeah, man. I'm just hoping we can find something for that sickness and keep fighting. Getting ready for training camp starting. And we said last show coming up, we're gonna get together and do a 32 for 32 and get a date for that. Get that out to everybody. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some transactions going on here and there, little roster cuts here and there. We'll chime on those briefly. Yeah, man, it's getting close, man. We're in July. July 1, camp for us start July 23rd. And then the first preseason game is what, a month and a couple of days away, like August 6th, I believe, the first preseason game.
Yeah.
So it's right here, bro. It's right here. We're getting close, man. It's getting close, man. It's becoming real. Especially for me, being a Raiders fan, get a franchise quarterback. We ain't had one since you name it. We ain't had one since, so it's a little excitement. For me,
Derek Carr.
2014, Derek Carr, yeah. So, well, a number one overall pick since 2007 with Jamarcus Russell, but Derek Carr in 2014. Yeah, it's been a wow. But yeah, man, I'm excited for the league to start up. I'm excited for these new coaches getting new opportunities. First time head coaches. This rookie class, I'm excited for this rookie class as well to see what they can do in preseason. But it's getting ready to get good, man.
It's getting closer. The 32 and 32, we're still trying to cook up how we're going to attack that, and we'll get more in depth with all these teams. It's one of my favorite parts of the season, like the draft part, the free agency, the off-season part, where teams trying to figure out that 53-man roster. Oh, well, seeing the 90-man roster, seeing who you have going through the preseason and training camp process. These guys are unknown guys, all of a sudden making a name for themselves. I just can't wait, man. And we gonna bring it all here to you. If you don't have anything else, I'm Larry Patterson. That's above Washington. Episode 40 is coming up. Well, until then, we'll see you guys. Have a blessed one.